Good evening and welcome once more to Dire Billions. And since we lost the last game, we will try again, of course. So I've started the same game basically, which means not the same game at all, because the map is, as usual, very different as the previous one, if you haven't noticed. Well, if you haven't noticed, basically if you have played the game you notice, if you don't, it's basically impossible to play the same map twice. You'll always get a new map. And this time, well, at least we have some stone. And I'm gonna send out the rangers scouting. And let's build a couple of houses. So how are we gonna do this here? We're gonna build a quarry here and probably here, and so we can start building houses here. Oh, this was stupid because I would like them to be like here, and well, here for now. So let's see if we find something. Maybe not a horde. And we're also trying to get the soldier rough achievement. So if you're wondering why I'm not training any rangers later. And we have found the first couple of infected. So we're there. Oh, some food. Nice. So let's continue down here and find more infected. Let's go a step up here. Infected here. And okay. So I'm gonna send her back over here and look around here. Let's get another house, or even more, because we found the food, so we can build more houses. We don't need to build a hunter's cottage immediately. Okay, there's a pond. I thought for one moment that is an infected village, a doom village. So here, like up there. Yeah, we have found the Doom Village. I think on this level, on challenging, there is one Doom Village on the Dark Moorland. We take the... oh, it's kind of tempting to take the Iron Reserve, but this one will pay off later, because 10 iron is not that much. And we found our iron. This is the iron we're gonna use to build our first couple of soldiers. There will be more food over here. Yes, but we can get it right now, so we'll just set up a patrol here. And you will move over there. Yeah, find me some wood. Nice. So, yeah, they're infected over here. So we now want a hunter's cottage. 16, that's nice. We can't build any fishes, but we can maybe sneak in another one. Yes, here. Well, it wouldn't be better over here, so it doesn't matter. And more houses, of course. So, what's up there? Let's go over here. Oh, yeah, infected. That's over here. And there's infected up there, so I'm gonna set up another patrol right about here. And where did I send this other? Yeah, here she is. So, and you will basically just stand here, because, well, why not? Oh no, I'll send the soldier over there to guard this choke point, and she will guard down over here, I guess. So I should be fine all around, kinda, at least. And I'm gonna build the first Tesla tower, because we need to get to the iron immediately. Because, as I've said previously, we need soldiers. We can't build here because I need the sawmill. Right there, somewhere. So you're gonna go down there, and I'm gonna build the sawmill. And here it's 10, here it's 10, here it's 7, so I'm gonna build it here. Yes, it's nice. And 2 more houses, because now it doesn't matter. So let's look what's down there. Yeah, they were infected. So basically I'm gonna send up a patrol over here, and you will slowly kill them all, maybe. Whew. So we're set up once more, and I hope we'll do it this time. I don't know yet, of course, but I'm recording and we'll see. Also, I'm gonna go to 20 days, then this will be part 1, and next part we will be till, well, day 40 or something on the along the lines. And well, that's the way I'm gonna do it, and I don't know how far I'll go, how often I'll play this, but well, I like it now, and it's fine for me. I don't know. I put out some parts yesterday and the day before of the first. Well, once I put out this one, you'll probably know that I failed the first try. So, yeah, you know more than me. No, I know more than you this time. Yes, that's the way it is. So now we got the iron, which is very nice because it's useful. And we also need to go over here because that would be a very nice choke point, especially since the village is over there and we want this executor and the food. But everything when we're ready. And some advance over here to get some more wood and hunters. I'm blowing up my colony a little bit by doing this because, well, usually you should start in a small area, but I need the iron and I need to extend quickly because Soldier Rough is not easy, as we've seen previously. So we're gonna build a fisher's cottage here. I hope it doesn't get overrun by some zombies. Infected, of course. Zombies infected. Whatever. And hunter. Yeah, 17 is nice. And another. It's 9 here, and I could put another one here. It's 8. I could put one here probably, but can I put one if I put it? No, I don't think so. I'll put it here for now. And we need more gold. Right now we need more gold. So I'm gonna build some houses. I thought I should maybe think about something to talk about first, because the first couple episodes were kind of me rambling randomly about random stuff, and I thought it might be intelligent to ramble about something a little bit more consistent. And so I thought about maybe I should talk about, well, the zombie apocalypse, because why not? We are kind of playing the zombie apocalypse. Well, of course it's the infected apocalypse, but yeah, it's kind of the same. So, what did I want to say? Yeah, of course, I wanted to talk about how would it go down, and what should you do? What should you do? I think it really depends upon where you live, because if you're thinking like in America, and yeah, that's a stereotype, but I think it's also true, you have guns. You have a lot of guns. And good for you, I mean, who am I to judge? But over in Europe, we don't have a lot of guns, so if the zombie apocalypse would happen, I hope she survives, it wouldn't be that easy to defend yourself. I mean, How would this? We should start with something else. How would the zombie apocalypse happen? Because if the zombie apocalypse would be like in Resident Evil, where you're basically having a virus that is set up by a corporation to, what were they even doing? I mean, I think it was like to test it as a weapon or something like that, wasn't it? I don't exactly know. Basically, if you're having a virus that gets spread rapidly and that mutates people, well, you're fucked. The human civilization is gonna die, because have you seen the stuff they came up with? I mean, just imagine this very fast zombies or very strong zombies. Yeah, once they have reached critical mass, we're gonna die. There's no way around. You can't do anything about it, especially if they're not slow or weak to bullets or something like that. So let's imagine an apocalypse like The Walking Dead, where basically everybody becomes a zombie. I've watched some of it, but not the whole series, because it got boring basically. And this is a scenario we could, the human race, could maybe win, because they're slow. They are the walkers basically. Well, I think they were called walkers. They were never called zombies. Like here, they are called infected and neither called zombies. So that's a scenario that would work kinda for our species, because, well, you can defend yourself against them. They are slow. They are dumb. That's also important. If the zombies are intelligent, well, they are not zombies anymore, but let's assume they are dumb. They'll just go wherever there is food, so people. And if they do, well, you can lead them around, so that would make a win scenario for humans and not zombies. So that's the first thing. We need a zombie apocalypse where they are slow and dumb. Otherwise, yeah, we are dumb. And what then? Let's say it spreads over the world, because if it would just be like a normal outbreak of sickness, of an illness, if you're imagining like Ebola or AIDS or something like that, that's too slow. I mean, once you realize a nation in, well, let's assume Africa, because, well, basically it's the continent with the poorest medical facilities. Is it called? Yeah, facilities. So it would probably start in Africa. Or even not, I mean, if it starts in Europe or Asia or even America, could also be possible, but let's say it starts in Africa. Somebody gets infected, and he infects the next one, and the next one, and the next one, because he bites them. Or she. I don't think the zombie virus would care specifically about if you're a man or a woman for the first infected. And where the virus comes from doesn't matter, for me at least. I mean, it would be interesting to see how such a virus could appear, and even if it is a virus, I mean, I think that's the usual bullshit argument. So it's a virus. Okay, the virus is doing that. It kills the people, the brain gets dead, and they want to eat. They want to eat humans for some reason, or their brains at least. And yeah, man, I could imagine that happening, because yeah, I know I'm going off tangents and tangents and tangents, but well, I've got time anyway. So how would it happen? It would happen because there's a specific mushroom, fungus, that is capable of infecting an ant's brain. Yes, an ant, like the small beetle. and it basically makes them a zombie to its own will. And if this fungus would mutate to be able to infect humans, yeah, that could be a potential zombie apocalypse. So it could happen. I can imagine that it happens. It's unlikely because, well, an ant and a human, they're two different things, I guess. So it's unlikely, but okay, let's say it could happen. That's the first thing. And it starts in Africa. And a nation, yeah, let's say a nation. A nation gets infected, basically. And nobody does anything about it. That's the first thing that's unlikely. Because if you would notice a whole nation slowly, it can't spread that fast because, well, zombies don't travel by plane or that's the next thing. If it needs some incubation time, well, yeah, that's again different. But let's say it starts spreading around, and people get zombified. And once they're zombies, they infect other people, and yeah, you know how it works. So let's say it spreads. The first thing would be, well, you send an army to block off said country. You hem them in. You don't want it to spread, so the easiest thing would, of course, be to close the borders and shoot anybody who's coming towards you, because you don't want this thing to spread. We are living in the time of mass media, and we would know what is going on down there because some crazy reporter would go down there and look after it, look for what it is. Maybe it would die, but it doesn't matter. We would probably know what is happening at some point. So, okay, we know what is there, so some nation will probably stop them somewhere because dangerous, so they would shoot the zombies. And in a world where you can basically, well, you can convince people of anything, and if they see zombies coming towards them, they are also probably willing to shoot. There may be some people calling for them being humans, for them being, basically there may be a Zombie Lives Matter group. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, because maybe they're very, very aggressive, very ugly, and obviously not anymore that human. But let's assume it spreads, so the first thing would be to hem it in. If that fails, if the whole world gets infected, because that's the scenario we need to go, everybody becomes like, yeah, these people here, you see, they are slow. This one is a little bit faster, but they are very slow, like maybe not even running speed, I guess. I say jogging speed, maximum jogging speed. Everybody gets infected somehow, because, yeah, you could hem in such an infection pretty easily. So it spreads. Okay, everybody gets infected. Up to Europe, over to, yeah, how would it get over the seas? Somehow it would get over there. Okay, we have to make assumptions. Or it's just like in The Walking Dead, and everybody who dies becomes a zombie, which would be, well, okay, that also works, but kinda boring. For me, at least. Okay, so now we've got an infected world and just a couple survivors. And some of them would obviously be in Europe. And how would you survive a zombie apocalypse in Europe? Well, that's the thing. What would you do? I mean, getting a gun. Well, in Austria we have lots of hunters, so you could go to a weapon shop and plunder it, or buy a gun if it's still operational. Everything wouldn't break down like in a moment. It's not like The Walking Dead where you wake up and everybody's a zombie. Like was he called Rick? Yeah, I think Rick was in a hospital, and and basically somehow he didn't get killed by the zombies, and yeah, it doesn't matter. So you would probably realize that it would be a very good idea to get a gun. So you would get a gun or 2 or 3, a hunting rifle, and I don't think the usual problems with getting a gun in Europe, so you need a license, everything. I think the nations would be not too hesitant to give people guns because, well, they see the storm on the horizon. They see the storm coming up from Africa, basically. If it comes from Africa, of course, that is. So, people would be somewhat armed, I guess. But still, the whole thing spreads, and, well, let's say like 90% or even 95% of the people get infected. Then what? Of course, you have a problem. And you are one of the survivors. You have a group of survivors. What would you do? I think you'd get a castle. Now, the thing is, in European nations, there are lots of castles, in most of them, especially in the West, and also to some extent, well, depending on where you live, there may not be that many, but let's just say my hometown, where I was born, is basically in the middle of the country, but the next castle is like 2 kilometers away, and along the Danube there are many castles. There are castles everywhere, basically, so it wouldn't be that hard to, well, take one or get the count or whoever lives there, because there are still counts. They're just not they just don't own anything anymore. Usually they may still own their castles, but it doesn't matter. You get a castle, you man it, of course. You need some people, and I hope you're not alone, because if you're alone you die because you need to sleep. You have very little chance in a zombie apocalypse alone. But let's say you get some people. I really need some warehouses here. Let's say you get a castle, and, well, I think that would be one of the safest things you could do, because they were made to stop basically anything that is not a siege engine, and zombies don't use them. So you get the gate up again, because maybe it was dismantled in our time, but you obviously want a sturdy gate. And the thing is, a castle is a very, very defensible position, so you need just somebody watching at night, and obviously at daytime. So you man the castle, you put people with guns on the walls, and you have a pretty secure location. Even if you trigger, for some mysterious reason, you trigger a zombie horde, like they exist in this game or in The Walking Dead or whatever. Trigger a horde. That wouldn't be that much of a problem, because where I'm gonna build this warehouse. Those castles were made to last. There's a reason they still exist today. They weren't built very flimsy. Let's just say it like that. So no matter how many normal walking zombies you have, they wouldn't be able to take down a castle. And that's kind of the point. You can just you can just sit in there and shoot them from a distance, slowly, but still, you get the job done. At some point, there will be no more zombies, and that's your victory scenario for this horde, basically. So you're safe from hordes as long as you spot them, and castles also have the bonus point of having usually some higher towers. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem, spotting hordes, I mean. Of course, you need somebody actually watching for hordes and basically sitting in a tower. But, well, you're in the zombie apocalypse, so people are motivated if it's for their own life's sake. So okay, now we've got a castle. Obviously we need some supplies for the castle because, well, you can't live from nothing. So you need to farm. Because we are assuming that, well, there is no state anymore, so you need to supply yourself. So going hunting is possible, but if there are zombies that are slow, they can't hunt the game in the woods. But I wouldn't go out alone hunting if I know there are zombies around. But maybe some people are that brave. So farming would be a very, very good idea. And I think you people would know that around castles, obviously there were villages, and the villages still exist today usually, and those villages supplied the castle, so you'd have some farming grounds around there. Just to make sure that this is not a problem. The castles are not on mountaintops usually. I mean, there are castles that are basically on mountaintops because you needed to watch the passes. Are they called passes? You know, the streets over mountains. Yeah, I think they're called passes. Or, yeah, sure. Surely they are. I say they are. So, you get your castle. And you're probably able to farm enough for, well, for your people. And that would be the first step, I guess. The next step, the problem is, while you probably are able to get some guns, because, once again, there is actually quite a couple of guns in Europe, we just don't use them as readily. And we can't use them as readily because, well, you're not allowed to shoot them anywhere. You have to go to shooting ranges and stuff like that. So you have guns, but you don't have enough ammunition because that's the thing. You're actually restricted to a certain amount of rounds, and there's not that much around. When there is, of course, once the zombie apocalypse hits Africa or something like that. Once the zombie apocalypse is on the horizon, ammunition production would rise substantially, probably. But okay, so we don't have ammunition forever. Not like anywhere. You couldn't have ammunition anywhere, anyways, because you will run out of it. You can't operate a factory once most people are dead, and ammunition for modern firearms is quite complicated to make, actually. You can do some bullets, but the problem is you need the right powder. I mean, powder is not the right word anymore, because there is, in most firearms, there is not good old-fashioned black powder, but a little bit more advanced stuff in there. So you need the right propellant. That's what it's called. And that's a problem, because that's usually not that easy to make. Also, the casings and the bullets itself need metal, the right kind of metal, because you also need to be able to, to form it into bullets, and the bullets need to fit your gun. And guns today don't accept any bullet. I mean, not any bullet, like any caliber, like all the ones that are out there, but more like they need a very, very acutely produced bullet. It doesn't have much room to wiggle, basically. You could, for a musket, for example, you could put in fairly, what do they call it? Imperfect rounds, bullets, because a musket has a very large barrel, so you just you can use paper to. I don't want to get into how to use a musket here, but let's just say you can't use the Austrian assault gun, the STG-77, for a lot of time, because you will run out of bullets that fit the gun. So you need something simpler. There's crossbows, there's bows, normal bows, and while it's fairly easy to shoot a modern assault gun, a modern assault rifle, I've been in the army, so yeah, I didn't need much time to aim it aim it perfectly at the 100 meters or more. So there's that. But um, an ancient construction like a crossbow or even a musket, just for the argument's sake, would be fairly hard to aim. So aiming at the headshot is not easy. And then we get to the point where, yeah, you need to mow them down, basically, the enemies, the zombies. You need to kill them by firepower, not by accurate shots anymore, because while there are, of course, those Robin Hoods that can shoot accurately at the head, what do we want? We want the wood, because I want to build more cottages. So there are those people who can aim very accurately, and preferable you'd give those the guns, or if you don't have any guns left, you give them the crossbows or whatever. But mowing down a horde with accurate shots is, well, easier said than done. You are more likely to use the tactics from what was it called? Of course, it's the Lord of the Rings, but the Battle of Helm's Deep, where they're using old people and basically whoever can hold a bow to just shoot into the orcs. You're using volley fire to mow down zombies. Simply because you can't expect everybody to be a sharpshooter, and they're probably coming here, so I'll send my soldiers over there. And I'll build some makeshift barricades, like tower here, one there, and another one here. It should be enough, or it will be a very short lesson. If they're coming from down there, I'll build some towers over here. But I don't expect that. So you're probably going to use volley fire. And, well, you don't need skilled people for doing volley fire, obviously. But that should work, even especially if you're using arrows, because you don't have to worry about ammunition. That arrows are not easy to make, but easier than bullets made for, well, assault guns. So you'll probably arm your people with crossbows and bows, simple bows. Yeah, that would be one of the first things to do. Once you have, as long as you have bullets, well, you're happy. You can be happy to use bullets, but you will run out. There's no question. Even in America, where you have more bullets than we do, you will run out of bullets. So at one point, you will use something cheaper. And I probably should build another tower over here. And at that point, yeah, it's gonna be bows and crossbows. They will split here, won't they? But I have the executor here, so I don't care about this side. Maybe... yeah, they're up there, so you go up here as well, and you go back. So, I need to concentrate at the game for a moment now. Here. Well, it should be fine. Yeah, it was fine. You assume patrol duty? Patrols. Would you actually use patrols? I don't think so. Because while I start out with like 4 soldiers, 4 rangers and a single soldier here, in a real life scenario, if you could say, can put it like that, you'd obviously have more people, because if you don't, you'll die. You'll have maybe your entire village, like 100 people or more. You need a group. You can't just have this small group, which is very nice for, how should I put it, for a series of, for a TV series. It's very nice to have a group that is It's appealing to the people that makes them feel for them, but you don't. You won't have just 5 guys or 6 or 7. You will have like 100. So, and that is useful and important. So you'll put up watchers once you are working outside, and you'll have guards in the castle, in the tower, to watch for hordes, to watch for attackers. And in night times, you will go back into the castle. You want to move out in the night, because if they are as slow as those guys are, you can only be surprised by them. They can't catch you. But if they surprise you and bite you, well, that's a problem. And if you want to clear out a lot of them, yeah, you need some serious firepower. Because as the Soviets and other nations have proved, mass rushes on infantry that does not have machine guns, well, it works. So, where was I even going now? Yeah, you would have watches. So maybe you build a couple of watchtowers around, wooden watchtowers would suffice, around the location where your farms are, basically. Yeah, the farms. And build a gate here and a Tesla tower, right? There? No, there. We'll build it there. And you'll have somebody sitting on those watchtowers. If they spot a zombie, if they spot somebody shambling around, zombies are not that stealthy, so you should be able to see them fairly easily. Because you have a lot of time, they don't move as fast. Even if they move through a wood, well, they are very, very slow. So having a watchtower on the end of the wood or making a clearing should be possible. I don't know, because obviously I haven't tested, but I think that should work. We want the research is not done. I want a farm because, well, I don't have enough food anymore. And that's the next thing. You don't need to expand, because a castle can fit in a surprising amount of people in it. If you have thousands, well, that may be too much for a single castle, but if you have 1,000 people, that brings other benefits. A lot of people I don't think is a detriment for a colony in a zombie-infested area. Anyway, what was it going on about? I forgot. Shit. We're still not done with the farm. Yeah, so you have watches, you have farms, and you have a castle. That's important. And you have somebody who's able to make crossbows and arrows or bolts for the crossbows, because you need some way of making arms. Not even just arms, but not even just arms to shoot people with, but also other weapons like melee weapons. Because you would probably like some melee weapons, like not like a knife. You don't want knives. Of course, you want knives for eating and stuff like that, but you don't want knives to kill zombies. Because if a zombie gets so close that you can kill him with a knife, well, he's too close. He can bite you at that range. So you want. Also, you don't want a spear, because if you need to, well, they're all shit positions for a farm. If you need to pierce the brain to kill it, you can do it with a spear, but I wouldn't try it. I mean, you need to stab him exactly in the head. You really want some, well, a greatsword maybe. I mean, or an axe even. Yeah, an axe would. I think an axe would be good. A long axe, not like a wood chopping axe, but a long hafted axe, battle axe basically. And yeah, that should work because you want to bash them. You don't need to cut them at the legs, or yeah, you can cut them at the legs, but you can't kill a zombie by hitting him in the torso or something like that. You need to bash his head in. And the head is, while some movies might want to make you think that it's not that way, a head is pretty sturdy. So you want a heavy thing, like, as I said, a battle axe, or even a hammer, a warhammer, maybe. Depends, again. A warhammer is, well, it would work probably. You don't want something light like a rapier or what was it called? A side sword even? A side sword maybe too light and also too short. You want range, you want like a longsword, or yeah, longsword should work. A battle axe, a longsword, a warhammer, a two-handed warhammer at that. Or a halberd. Yeah, a halberd should also work. Maybe. Hopefully. A halberd should work. Yeah. You want to equip your people with those weapons as well, as your soldiers especially. And everybody should have an arm. That's one of the things. An arm. Yeah, a weapon. That's one of the things that bothers me. People here are not armed. They're all just walking around like, yeah, there may be the apocalypse, but, well, who needs arms? It's a nice day. They are defending us with flimsy wood walls and, well, 2 or 3 guys on the walls, so what could ever happen? Everybody should be at least armed in some way. This, again, in America, this might not be as much of a problem because, well, you do have more guns than people, I think was the last count. So, yeah. America has the advantage in a zombie apocalypse, definitely. So you would like everybody to at least be armed somewhat, and especially once leaving the castle. Nobody should go out without at least, well, machete or something like that. So at least they can defend themselves rather effectively. Or depending upon how strong they are, they should be able to defend themselves. So we have the farms, we have the watchmen, we have towers, and we have a castle. That should actually do the trick, even if in a zombie infested area. It's like, well, no, one more thing. You want armor. Yeah, just armor, like not, well, maybe like exactly like plate armor, like knight. The problem with plate armor is obviously it's not as heavy as you might think, but it's heavy. You're slow and you don't want to carry it, to wear it all the time. But as we are in a technologically advanced society or world, basically, we are capable of producing quite a lot of body armor, and one of the first priorities would be to steal some of that. Well, steal. Yes, if it's necessary, you should steal it. You need to get some body armor for your soldiers, basically, for your watchmen. Because it may be nice for everybody to have a machete. A spear. My spear is the simplest weapon of all, but effective nonetheless. You want everybody to have a spear, but your soldiers, those guys you may send in to clear out some location for some reason, because, well, you want to plant some more crops or something like that. Yeah, you want those guys to be armored, so at least a chainmail. It's at least a chainmail shirt or something along those lines. At least, I mean, we're talking the basics, but if available, proper body armor, like well, like what exactly? Like SWAT teams, yeah, something. It should be a decent armor, basically, yeah. And you want it, and You need it. That's one of the things that always bother me about zombie films. They're running around in like flannel shirts, or like a woodcutters or something like that, or a simple shirts, just like that. And you don't want people running around in shirts in a zombie apocalypse, especially if they are supposed to fight somebody. You want them armored with everything you have. Helmets, yeah, you want helmets, a lot of them, and you want them to go over the whole head, like a proper knight's helmet, because your head is kind of exposed, and your arms. You want gauntlets. You want proper gauntlets for your soldiers. I mean, it's not that hard to acquire something that is bite resistant. So a leather should do the trick, actually. So you don't need a steel armor or a steel helmet. Well, the helmet maybe should be steel because I think it's more comfortable to wear a steel helmet than a leather helmet. Maybe not. One of the things I never wore was some fencing masks, but that's not the same as a helmet, so I don't know. But a leather helmet should also do the trick, and leather leg guards, arm guards, everything. You want everything to be armored up. No matter, well, no matter the location on your body, you want everything armored. Because everything that's armored can be bitten, and zombies don't come at you with knives or swords or spears or anything armor breaking. So once you're geared up, they shouldn't be able to hurt you. And that's very useful because you may be surprised somehow. They are slow, they are maybe loud because they're groaning and stuff like that, but you should be... don't die, please. Should you? Yeah, I do think once you're armored up properly with not even today's gear, but the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages gear. Why are they in danger? Yeah, you are in danger. That should be enough. At least enough to defend yourself. And to defend yourself once you have missed the zombie and he tries to bite you. And that's really what you want, because losing somebody who's actually at least some... Why are you under attack? That's why. Losing somebody who's capable of defending himself in a professional manner, because, well, you want people who know what they're doing at fighting. You want people who at least have handled weapons before. And in Europe, well, there are lots of people who never held a gun or a sword or... Why? I really don't like this location. I should build a wall down here or something. But first I want a wall here. So, losing trained people is bad. The same thing goes for trained farmers, actually. I mean, we're not only talking about the soldiers, we need trained farmers. We need people who are able to make an educated guess on how much food we can grow. Everybody who knows something that's useful, be it a doctor, be it a farmer, a warrior, a soldier basically, even a miner, a chemist. Yeah, everybody who does something useful you want to keep, and losing them would be a problem. So you want to armor them up when sending them out. I would go so far as to say, well, everybody who cannot contribute in anything more than manual labor, basically you can just tell them, do this thing and they will do it. Well, everybody who can't do anything more won't get armor. Depending upon if I'm ruling the society or if it's a democracy or something else. This is one of the situations where I think a dictatorship would be a good idea, because, yeah, you don't want that kind of decision-making process where you need hours and hours on end when the horde is at the doors. What was that? Was that a harpy? I think so. So there's something dangerous up here. Yeah, it's the Doom Village, but I don't think she came from the Doom Village. So skilled people should be protected at all times, and even if that means letting them, well, letting them run rampant in your society because you need them. You should avoid letting them become, well, criminals in the most literal sense of the word, because if they realize that you can't do anything to them because, well, they are the only doctor alive in an area of like a couple hundred square kilometers, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming that I have some people, like, let's say 200 people. So I could get a hold on 200 people. Why does nobody else do this? I don't know. But this is the assumption. We are alone. We are the last colony, like in, what was it called? Frostpunk. You are the last colony. At least you think you are. And so everybody who does something that's very, very useful and only he knows what he's doing, well, this person is very important. You can't just kill them. Because again, now you don't have a society anymore, and with no society, I was a little bit dumb there because I was thinking, why can't I build it there? Because I don't have the resources, that's why. You can't kill those people you need. And you're in tough shit if you don't have somebody who can at least stitch up your wounded. Yeah, that's also kind of a problem. So you need to organize your society somehow around the idea that some people are worth more than others, and there will be people who are worth no, there will be people who are useless. I mean, who would be useless? Well, anybody who isn't able to provide anything that's useful. Yes, makes a lot of sense. Anybody who can't, how do you say this? You probably understand what I want to say, but I want to say it nevertheless. Like a philosopher. Yes, a philosopher is a nice idea to provide our society, the society we currently have, with some services. There are people claiming, well, philosophers are useless, but I don't think so. I mean, they provide us with, well, they are thinkers. They provide us with thinking. Yeah, that sounds kind of stupid, to provide us with thinking. What am I thinking? They provide us with ideas. They provide us with ideas about how the world is, how it should be. But once the zombie apocalypse hits, well, that's no longer a problem because the world is the way it is and it's shit. So yeah, philosophers wouldn't be that important and would probably not be very high on any... this doesn't work. On any priority list. You wouldn't want to... Well, you would want to defend them anyways, because even unskilled labor is labor. But if you have to decide between losing a philosopher and losing a farmer, well, you will take the farmer. One may be university educated, the other one not, but the farmer is useful and the philosopher isn't anymore. So those people, well, they would need... In the perfect world, you wouldn't have to make this decision, but maybe you once have to make this decision, and anybody who can provide the colony or your castle with something useful will be allowed to live. And I'm stopping here. I'm pausing here because I want to stop the video here because we are at day 22 and I said 20 days. So good night everyone, and we'll continue this talk next time.